How long does it take to lose it all in the roofing business?
I think that people stick around 3 million a year, 2 million, 3 million a year because of fear.
How did you get to 15? What capacity?
Yep.
What skills do you have to build a $50 million company over and over again?
I think that the biggest challenge was a mental game. The mental game of knowing that I was going to fail, knowing that I was going to succeed, and how to bounce back from that. I think that people are afraid to fail, and that puts a cap on them. I think that people stick around 3 million a year, 2 million, 3 million a year because of fear. They're afraid to take it to the next level. They're afraid to take it to 5 million. They're afraid to take it to 7 million. They think that it's just not something that is achievable. For me personally, I never thought that I'd be able to do it. It was very.
So did you have some limiting self-belief?
Absolutely.
How did you get out of it?
So one of the first people I added to my team was a coach. Was someone that could pick my brain apart, pick my thoughts apart, that I could call at any time of day and reflect to me that that's just in your head. You can be what you want to be, but you have to go out and get it. If you tell yourself you're not going to make the team, you're probably not going to make the team. If you tell yourself you can't sell $1 million, you're not going to sell $1 million.
I want to pause really quick because I know that a lot of people in our audience needs to hear this, and I see so many people procrastinating on the big things, but everybody's asking their own questions, in my opinion. People are asking, where do you get leads? Where to advertise? Where to hire first employees? Things like that. And it's all good. Recently, my videographer had a conversation with a guy in Minneapolis who I think he has siding business. And my videographer was trying to explain to him what we do. Roofing school, and then I consult people and things like that. And he's like, really? Someone paid for that? And I would argue that coaching and mentorship, it has a bad name. Like people think about charlatans. But I would argue that having personal coach, it's more important than having a good marketer.
Absolutely.
Or a good recruiter.
Absolutely.
People just don't get it. But how do you explain return on investment? I noticed one thing about you. You don't have patience. We're like brothers from another. Like this guy has no patience. How much to that quality of yours you attribute your success because you make decisions fast? And I see a lot of guys, they have all patience in the world, but they also procrastinate. So there's a fine line to, you want a success, you can go and get it, versus let's sleep on it. Let's think about it. Let's brainstorm. Let's see what the team think. Like, guide me through impatience and mentorship. What is your life coach says about it?
I had to learn how I react to situations the best. What my coach put in front of me, one of the first things that I learned is don't confuse movement with progress. Just because you can run in place, but it doesn't mean you're going anywhere. So I could be 100 miles an hour and I could be going everywhere, but not getting anywhere. So she was able to get control of my brain, by weird to say, and point out to me that, hey, you make the best decisions when you're on the fly. Don't be scared to do it. She also taught me that don't be afraid to fail. I know that I've been 5 million, I've been 10 million, and I've never been afraid to lose it. I've never once been afraid to lose it because I know that I will get it back. It's all in how I act to situations, how I act on situations. So I've learned that being 100 miles an hour makes my decisions like this. When I have time to think about something, I'm going to talk myself out of it, and I'm never going to try that. Everyone likes to do this game where it's play devil's advocate, and it's like, okay, you can play the devil advocate, but have you ever done that? Have you really been there? I've never been anywhere. I've never done this before, and I can't sit there and judge. Everybody judges everything off of their opinion of another person's opinion of another person's opinion. And it's like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. Why shouldn't I do that? Has that person ever done it? Has that person ever done it? No. So don't be afraid to get out there and get after it. And don't confuse movement with progress.
Love it. Something that you said that I can relate in the YouTube game a lot. Like you said, you're not afraid to lose 5-10 million because you can rebuild. And it's so true. Daryl Eves, he is a YouTube coach. He managed 20 channels over 1 million subscribers plus. So if you brand new to YouTube game, you're like, how do I get to 1,000 subs, right? But if you build, for you, it's $10 million roofing business or $50 million roofing business. For someone, to channel with 1 million subscribers, once you've done it, if you lose the channel, if YouTube bans you, you know how to create content. You go on TikTok, you go to Instagram, or you come back to YouTube and you build it again, because the skill that you learn when, it's always going to be there. Like if I can go and rebuild a company way faster,
right?
Even if I lose it, love it.
Right. It's like you listen to your comments. You're big time. You have a subject, and you go into your comments. When you make that video the next time, when it might be 2022 instead of 2021, you're going to go back and you're going to look at those 300 comments and you're going to learn from them.
Exactly. How long does it take to lose it all in the roofing business? Because there's so many people out there, they're chasing this dream, and they feel like they conquered the world because they have one good storm season and they run $10 million company overnight. How long does
I don't consider that a $10 million company.
How long does it take to lose it all? How vulnerable is the roofing business?
Very vulnerable. You could lose it all in the drop of a hat. I do a lot of commercial. I lost $1 million in the matter of 3 months from a big GC. I couldn't compete with their attorneys. I couldn't compete with the money that they threw at it to not lose.
It's vulnerable because there's too many players who can put you out of business, too many variables, especially in commercial world.
And it's about the risks that you're willing to take on.
These amounts are so big. One mistake in the office can cost you.
My mental mind frame is this. I have lost everything that I have more than a handful of times, from stupid decisions when I was younger to decisions before I was an entrepreneur. I have hit rock bottom. I have been homeless twice in my life. I also took 5 years to make a $15 million company, dissolve a $15 million company, and bring it back in 2 years.
Wow.
And
that's a proven track record right there.
It is. And it's as simple as I am not afraid to lose. I'm not afraid to go back after it again, because I'm going to take what I learned. We don't learn from failure, or we don't learn from success. We learn from the hardships. And if you don't struggle, you're not learning.
Well, let's not scare our audience away yet. Roofing business is awesome. And next question is the biggest perks in roofing business. What do we have that you don't have in other industries? What is it that attracts you and get you going every day? What is it that we're getting in the return for that risk?
I've got two answers to this, because it's not just about what the roofing industry provides to me. The people that are in my life, the environment that I've been able to create is polar opposite from what I had before when we dissolved a $15 million company. I knew that I didn't want narcissistic people in my life, that I wanted people that cared about their customers, and that weren't just about how are we going to make the most money out of every deal.
But money's still there. It's still good. It's cool to have
Yeah.
rebates.
It is.
It's
It
nice to have
absolutely is.
trips.
You'll never hear me complain about money. You'll never hear me complain about it. But it doesn't. One of the things I've been fortunate enough to learn is that I don't do this for the money. I'm not saying that the money isn't awesome and my life wouldn't be where it is without the money. But what makes me wake up is seeing the families that I support, the person that comes up to me and says, Sean, I just want to say thank you. I was able to pay $15,000 off in credit card debt. And
That's
it's
awesome.
like, wow, okay. It's how I personally touch people. It's how giving someone a brand and watching them worship the brand to not be afraid to, I am Tectum Roofing. I'm there. This is, and I'm proud to say that Sean Moriarty is our leader. That's the shit that makes me wake up every morning. As far as the roofing industry, it's what you make it. The people in the industry are what do it for me.
You can choose your circle.
Yeah.
You can choose your community. I love that answer because, guys, today you have more options than ever. You have option what supplier to associate with, what conference to go to. It's no longer just this one guy who does something. You have so many flavors. Yeah. You can pick your own community. You can become a storm chaser, a retail contractor, service contractor, commercial contractor. Love it.